Hey guys, and welcome to my channel, Sunny with a Chance of Rain. I say welcome because this is my first YouTube video, so I'm excited to see where this takes us. But if you clicked on this, it means you want to learn how to make super soft and gooey cinnamon rolls, and we're about to learn how to make it. To begin, we are going to make our Tangzhong. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I'm sorry if I'm not. We're gonna add a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour and 3/4 cup of whole milk. Over medium-high heat, we are going to whisk this until our wrists hurt. And I mean that because we really don't want this to burn. We want it to be nice and pasty and not have a burnt taste. So it's gonna take a good 5 to 6 minutes of this before it gets nice and thick, but don't lose patience. This is starting to look like the consistency we want, and you're going to go ahead and turn off the heat and continue whisking for a little bit until it looks like this. So now we are going to add our warm roux to our KitchenAid mixer with a whisk attachment, and we're going to get ready to add our butter and our egg. Once we've added our 1/2 cup of unsalted butter and our 1 room temperature egg to our mixer, we're gonna close it up and put it on the lowest speed and let it really mix together. Because of the roux, it will be a little chunky at first, but just continue to mix it and you will see a nice creamy consistency. We are going to take our 1.5 cups of whole milk and pop it in the microwave for 25-30 seconds. We want our milk warm, but not, boiling hot. So after we combine that, we are going to add our 1 packet of instant yeast. And just want to make sure it's instant and not active dry. They're 2 totally different ones, so just make sure when you're adding. So once we've incorporated our yeast to our mixture, we want to leave that for a second and head over to mix our flour. We are going to take 5 cups of all-purpose flour, a 1/2 cup of white sugar, and 1/2 tablespoon of salt. Give it a good whisk. I like to add the flour at about a 1/2 cup at a time, and really there's no rhyme or rhythm. I just mix a little bit at a time, and this is a warning. This dough will be very sticky. Even when you've added everything, you might feel like it's wrong. You're on the right track. Just mix it and we're gonna go from there. After all the flour is incorporated, we're gonna let this mixer do its thing on low speed for about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna come back to it. All right, 10-minute mark. So here we're gonna take our rubber spatula, kind of scrape everything off of the dough hook, scrape around the bowl, kind of give the dough a little flip-flop here and there. And then we are going to put the mixer back on for the remaining 10 minutes. After 20 minutes, we are going to turn off our mixer and we are going to get ready to put this in an oiled bowl to proof for about an hour. I like to oil the top of a piece of saran wrap as well and cover the bowl. And my oven has a bread-proof option, but if you don't, you can also set your oven to 95 degrees, or you can just put it in the oven with the light on, and it will do the same thing every time. You want both of these ingredients to be softened, so when you're whipping this, it comes together a lot smoother than cold butter or cream cheese. I accidentally melted my butter and I popped it in the freezer, so that's why it looks like that. But don't do that. Just leave it at room temperature. You'll be good. We are going to start adding our powdered sugar, and you want to do this a little bit at a time. I usually use a spoon, but you can do half a cup, quarter cup, and you just want to make sure before you're adding the whole thing that it's incorporated so that you don't get any big sugar lumps in your icing, and that's not pretty. Once we're all whipped up, we're gonna add a teaspoon of fresh lemon juice. I usually just cut off the top of a lemon and give it a squeeze, and a teaspoon of vanilla, or a little extra if you're like me. Our last part of our cream cheese frosting is just adding a little bit of heavy whipping cream. So I usually do 1 to 2 tablespoons, whatever I'm feeling, but you can adjust to how you feel. And once we add that, we are gonna just whip this up a little bit more till it's light and fluffy, and then we're gonna go ahead and mix it with a rubber spatula to get any air pockets and make it nice and smooth. I had to give the frosting a taste. I don't know who doesn't taste frosting or anything they're making in the kitchen, but this was so good. I had to let you know. Now onto our filling. So we're gonna take a half cup of unsalted butter at room temperature, 3.5 tablespoons cinnamon, 1.5 cups dark brown sugar. You want the dark brown sugar in this recipe. If you only have light brown sugar, it will work, but the dark brown gives it a little bit of a deeper flavor. And a half teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. As you can see, it's pretty thick and hard to mix around. So we're gonna add a half tablespoon of heavy whipping cream, a little bit at a time, because we want our filling to be as thick as possible when we're spreading, so that when we bake, it doesn't melt and go all over. We're pretty much done mixing our filling. It's still a little bit thicker, which we want because right before we add it on our dough sheet, we are gonna microwave it for 5 to 10 seconds to get it to the perfect spreading consistency. Now that our dough is proofed, we are going to lightly flour our surface, whatever we're gonna roll our dough on. And when I say lightly, I mean as light as possible, just enough to not have your dough stick to your countertop. I like to use some sort of offset spatula to do the spreading, just so I don't put any nicks and cuts into the actual dough. I want to smooth it out in an even layer so that each roll is going to have the same amount of cinnamon. And when we're rolling our cinnamon roll up, we want to keep it as loose as possible. I know that sounds weird, but trust me when I say the looser the better, because when your dough proofs and when it bakes, you're not gonna get that mountain of dough that rises in the middle and gives you a really weird cinnamon roll shape. When you're cutting your cinnamon rolls, I think everyone pretty much uses floss, unflavored. But if you don't have any unflavored floss, you can use a really sharp knife, and you just have to try and not press down to ruin your spiral. Once we have all of our cut cinnamon rolls into our buttered pans, we're gonna cover this with a towel, or you can put it in your proofing area, your oven, whatever you have, and we're gonna let this proof for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, our rolls are proofed and they're ready to go into the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. Our finished product, OMG. These look so good, and they're even better in person. I'm gonna put cream cheese frosting all over it, and I like to do it while the rolls are still hot, so the frosting kind of melts all over and gives it a super gooey taste, and also it looks just like glossy and perfect. Guys, I hope you liked the recipe. If you made it, please let me know, and don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, you know, the whole YouTube deal. And I'm about to try my first bite. Oh my gosh. It's so good. Look at that. Thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.